With the recent roster reveal by NRG, it is now confirmed that Demon1 and Acend have left their champion winning team. This is for the third time now that the champion team would not be playing with a full champion roster. But why have these teams not stayed together despite being the world champions? Starting with Acend, the squad came together just 2 days before Riot's first ever regional masters where they performed insanely well. After a 5-game series against Team Heretics, they managed to become the victor and continue their momentum throughout the season.
Waiting on this recon, I'm pretty sure. Look at the double face comes through, Bocold lands it!
Attackers win. They've done it! They've actually gone and done it!
cNed was making a name for himself with his crazy jet plays, and although their run at Stage 3 Masters Berlin would be caught off short by 100 Thieves, they managed to get just enough points for them to be second in their standings, qualifying them for the Valorant Championship 2021. And they crushed everyone. They marched straight to the grand finals without dropping a single game through group stage to playoffs, where they would encounter another titan, Gambit esports. Both teams took the map back and forth, and it came down to the final game 5 where one would be crowned the first Valorant champion. And in the end, it showed that Acend had a better draft that made the difference in winning their final map split.
And this is what it comes down to. One more man to stand, and Redgar down to a 1v4, and it's done! Acend, the first of their kind, to etch their names in the history books.
So, as the story unfolds, player would part ways with the team after finding a better opportunity, right? Not exactly. Despite the rumors, they decided to stick together, extending their contract for another year on February 11, 2022, just 1 month before the new season. But then, what happened then? How did they end up breaking up soon after? Just a few weeks before the Stage 1 Challengers, Russia invaded Ukraine, and one of the players from Acend, Kyles, is from Ukraine, meaning his family and relatives live there, and we cannot fathom how much that can affect a person. Despite being strong on the outside, it was taking a toll on his gameplay and performance, which was very noticeable. Kyles wasn't the only one that was affected by this conflict. Masters 3 champions, which they beat in the finals for Valorant Championship, was also heavily affected. Gambit esports being Russian org, they were cut off by Riot, meaning players had to further play without an org, and soon after it ended up them disbanding. Back to Acend. Another big reason why they didn't perform well lies with their ace cNed. Jet got nerfed and it affected his playstyle. While other players like DIABLO were having insane momentum with the Chamber meta, it was quite the opposite for cNed. Chamber wasn't working for him at all. cNed only played the most broken agent twice in Stage 1 Challengers, both against Guild esports after winning the first game. They then tragically lost both games with it, ending the series 1-2, which put them in a dire situation.
Stunned, dazed, and he's dead. Leo gets him down, and Guild 13 for Acend.
Losing the game they weren't supposed to put them in a very crucial position against BBL. If they beat BBL, they would qualify for playoffs, keeping their Masters Reykjavik dream alive, but if they lose, their dream would end in an instant. And just before the match, Jeek posted something serious. It meant that Jeek would be stepping off in a crucial deciding match and Acend would need to play with a stand-in. Despite the struggle, they would lose the series 1-2 against PBL, not qualifying for Masters Reykjavik.
To potentially obscure some vision, give him an opportunity, but Para puts him to his grave, and simultaneously putting Acend to their grave. They will not be qualifying to the playoffs, and they will not be able to compete for Masters.
Soon after, they benched Kyles and they're fragging IGL Bonecold due to differing reasons for Stage 2. I feel like Bonecold addressed the meta change and tried his best to manage according to it, which didn't end up working, or rather his team wasn't able to adapt to it, which eventually got him benched right after a month of his extended contract. Vac and Monster were added as their replacement and Zeke came back and they performed surprisingly well. They beat everyone in their group except for Fnatic, becoming the second in the group stage. But they lost their first match in the upper bracket playoffs against M3C, players of Gambit esports that were forced to play without an org due to the situation we addressed before. Acend then lost their next match in the lower bracket against FPX, who went in to become second at the tournament. This meant that they would miss Masters Copenhagen and did not have enough circuit points to qualify for Valorant Champions 2022. Their final chance would be through LCQ, for which they dropped Zeke and brought Link. At this point, the core champions of Acend were already removed and the difference showed. They lost their first 2 matches against M3C and G2 Esports, which ended their final hope of making it to the champions.
Nothing's trying. Every corner contains a threat, and it's Meadow to do it. It could have been any of them here as G2 get to 13 and send Ascend home.
And soon later on September 21, 2022, they dropped their whole roster after not making it to Valorant franchising. But the same thing cannot be said for the next champion, Loud. The team came together on February 3rd, 2022 and completely shook Brazil. On their first tournament, Brazil Stage 1 Challengers, they played 5 games, 16 maps total and didn't drop a single one, qualifying for Masters 2022 Reykjavik with flying colors. They would continue their momentum with the clean upper bracket run straight to the grand finals where they would encounter Optic again, which they beat in the upper bracket finals. But this time, with an intense series, map 2 and 3 being overtime, Optic would take away the series 3-0 and become the major winners.
Tournament life in your hands, Optic on the verge, and it's all but over, it's all but done! Optic Gaming build their legacy brick by brick!
But that didn't stop them. On Brazil Stage 2 Challengers, it was deja vu. Another 5 games, 16 maps, 0 lost, 3-0 in the grand finals against NIP. And on the Masters Copenhagen, they would meet Optic again, but this time way early in the group stage and an elimination match.
And Optic holding on to this, Aspas last one alive, bows down to the old gods once again.
But they already had enough points to qualify for Valorant Champions 2022 where they would meet again. On the group stage, both Optic and Loud placed together again and they both won their first match, so they would face each other again in the winners match. But it felt like Eric's chamber was too much for them, which put another win for Optic.
He's just playing the clock, he's making him work for this meal. Sussy tries again, he's just toying with him, man. You can't do this to them. Optic make it to 13.
Now Loud had to play a decider match against Jetta to survive, which wasn't much of a trouble for them.
Alive in a 1v3, the reveal towards CT, and he just can't do it.
In the playoffs, the two old Leviathan and DRX had secured an upper bracket finals where they would meet Optic yet again. But this time, after already losing 3 series, they finally found an answer to beat them. The two owed Optic and El Diablo's chamber and moved on to the grand finals where they would face Optic again. Who would have guessed? But they already found the answer to beat them, which proved to be no fluke. They 3-1 Optic and became Valorant's second world champions.
The last man standing, FNS, and after so much time, so many years of heartbreak at the hands of Optic, Loud beat them in the best possible way.
But life's not always a fairy tale. Soon later, Riot announced franchising for the next season, which meant 10 teams would each be categorized into 3 parts according to their region: Americas, EMEA, and the Pacific. But why would this matter for Loud? Well, this meant a lot of roster changes. Teams that were invited would gather top players for themselves to become the best in the world, and any team would have eyes on the champions. Sassy and Pancata left Loud to join Sentinels. But Loud was also in the franchise, so why would they leave when the year was such a success since the beginning?
Now it's not. We are not like playing an American league or Brazilian league. You know, it's like the whole American league.
Exactly.
There's Brazilian, there's Latin, there's American organizations, so we are all together. So the enemy is the other side right now. You know. So.
That's true. First thing is the money. Whether you like to hear it or not, no one would leave their champion roster if the bag isn't big enough. Second thing, Sentinels is the heart of NA. They are super popular and a powerhouse organization. They even brought Shroud on board before. And with TenZ and Tariq still being part of the org, Sentinels has a fan base no other team has. And the amount of fame and support you get cannot be ignored either. They are getting better facilities and resources to grow and learn a lot.
Actually, coach for me is gonna be really like new because I didn't have like the opportunity to work with a whole coaching staff. You know? So yeah, now I'm going to work like with a whole new coaching staff. So I'm going to learn a lot from them.
And they even have Jekken and TenZ. Who would not want to play with these two on your teams, right?
As I said before, like I'm pretty excited to work with the young guys, Zach and TenZ. Like I really want to work with both of them, like really close, because I was like even watching them streaming. So
They're insane, bro. These guys are cracked.
They are
The
like
mechanics are...
oh my god, man.
But we all know the tragedy after. In the very first event of 2023, Lock in Sao Paulo, they lost to Fnatic in the very first series, placing them dead last. Many, including Sentinels themselves, raised the question of the format for the tournament being single elimination. There was also another thing. They lost to Fnatic, who went in to win the whole thing. There were many doubts, such as if they had beaten Fnatic, they would have become the champions themselves. If there was a lower bracket, they could have managed to go higher and stuff. But after not qualifying for any Masters and even that championship later, everybody knew that was not the case.
Down to the 1v1 second, he has to kill him and he won't do it! The hopes and dreams ended in a flash.
Loud, on the other hand, despite losing their champion duo Sassi and Pangada, they still managed to get to the grand finals of Sao Paulo. Heck, they nearly even managed to reverse swipe Fnatic in the grand finals. They were even up 11-3 on the final map Icebox, but the score on half was 9-3, and we all know what that means. The curse proved to be on Fnatic's side and they lost 12-14.
And the fight is over! 14-12, denying the reverse sweep! Fnatic, they pull off the impossible!
On later events, they placed first in the Americas League with a 3-0 victory in the Grand Finals against NRG, and they even placed third in the Valorant Championships 2023, with their only major setback being 8th place in the Masters Tokyo. For us, we may say that's good considering this and that, but for champions and their champion mindset, it's a disappointment. Maybe if the franchising never happened, the squad would have stayed together, continuing to dominate and maybe even winning the championship back-to-back. Well, Loud players weren't the only one that suffered from the Valorant franchising. Like many other teams, Loud's all-time rivals Optic, who won 2022 Masters Reykjavik, 3rd place in 2023 Masters Copenhagen, and 2nd place in Valorant Champions 2022, suffered a huge disaster as well. The org didn't even make it to Valorant franchise, and with no team wanting or being able to sign the whole roster, they had to part ways, which also ended their journey for the year in disappointment, especially for El Diablo. But not everybody suffered from franchise, especially EG, who were at the bottom of VCT throughout its existence, became the best team in the world thanks to it. Everybody, including Sentinels, was making fun of EG for making it to franchising. They even had a 10-man roster which people made fun of.
And they thought we didn't know we made franchising.
Matter of fact, they didn't even perform well at Sao Paulo, losing in the second round to Talon Esports.
One more target and still, there's just no time! EG denied it, another comeback completed, Talon will move forward.
But things started heating up at the Americas League where they benched BCJ. Home fans thought to be the best player on EG for Demon1, a rookie who had no LAN experience.
Demon is coming in and is
What?
subbed for BCJ. So Demon's
What?
coming in hot, baby.
Demon for BCJ? Nah, Demon1 is actually cold.
Duelist player, just classic
What?
young guy, 20
For
years old,
BCJ?
really strong.
And they weren't even supposed to make it to the playoffs, to be honest. 100 Thieves were against MMBR in the final match. MMBR was already out and had nothing to gain from that match. Heck, they didn't even have their star duelist player, and the one who was replacing him hadn't even played competitive match in a year. There was no hope from anyone, including EG themselves.
They're just not winning. It's not happening.
And Demon1 even bet that he would save his head if MMBR beat 100 Thieves. And yeah, a knife kill to send 100 Thieves and Demon1's hair to dust.
You gotta stick it, Chosen spraying! Spray tonight! No way! Off of it all! He's the hero in this scenario! And 100 Thieves have been denied!
And they didn't let this chance slip at all. They grinded with their life on it. Sadly, they fell short to NRG in the lower bracket finals, placing 3rd in the league, which was exactly just enough for them to qualify for Masters Tokyo and Championship. Holy f***.
Spills, inexorable. Already they fall one after another, and that's it!
In Tokyo, Demon1 shook everyone. They toured Loud right from the get-go. They beat every team except for Fnatic, and we all know how dominant Fnatic was at that point.
Demon1, the last man standing. And Fnatic, surely now, this moment is theirs. 40 HP for Demon1. And they're just not letting him get that room. They're not entertaining the idea. Leo, the one to send him away again.
They proved that it was no fluke. And the champions, they didn't drop a single series until the upper brackets final to PRX.
Getting in behind. The flash across, Mind Freak about to swing the corner. He does so, and he puts him down.
They battled the 5-game series versus Sloud and would head on to the grand finals for their revenge against PRX. But this time, the game felt pretty one-sided as EG would destroy PRX 3-1 to become the world champions.
Another chance for G, it's all over! EG are your Valorant World Champions!
A team built by fate that made them champions when no one expected. Surely, this is the team that would stick together and continue the domination, right? Despite EG winning the World Championship, players had to choose to get a significant pay cut if they wanted to stay with the team. Now, this caused a huge drama. The team just wanted to play together, but despite that, obstacles and uncertainties which players and teams had no control over would eventually lead them to break apart.
I literally just wanted to play with my brothers. I was willing to give up so much to play with my brothers, and now I don't have that opportunity.
The champion's curse seemed to be a real thing at this point.
I cried after winning a grand finals for my grandfather. And now I don't know how to feel.
Demon1 had proved himself and lots of the team will bat an eye on him. There's no way he would not get an opportunity and offer that he can't resist. And with NRG's offer, Demon1 and Ethan left EG and joined their new home. NRG didn't even trial Demon1 and signed him up once he agreed. Just shows how much of a hot shot he is right now.
I was trialing with Demon1. We didn't even play a single game with them, I think.
Yeah, we didn't at all.
We didn't play a single game with them. I think he was on vacation or some shit.
You just know the kid's good. Like, what's there to trial?
Now the question is, how will the new EG perform? Will Demon1 show that he was the difference maker, or will someone rise up from the dust to claim his throne?